So let's really understand the way of the wealthy. You've got your wealthy way, these components, but the way we live our life, the way we invest, the way we interact with our money and our assets and our consumption and our income really determines whether you get to savor and experience the true joy of life and living it fully, free of anxiety, knowing that you've got this element of money sorted and it's serving you and supporting you, so you can lean back and lean in and feel that vitality that comes from having this abundant swell just serving and supporting your life. And so there's 6 key elements that I want to talk to you about in here. And the first one is boring is beautiful. You might go, Anne, you're someone who almost represents the loving, the adrenaline and the enthusiasm and life and adventure and exploration. And why are you talking about beautiful? Boring is beautiful. I've really got to understand that by having a boring investment strategy, allowing my money stuff to be boring and simple and solid and certain, is what enables me to be present for the adventures, the adrenaline rush, the fun stuff. The key part of being boring is beautiful is we're talking about your money, your investments, not your life. But there's also these regular, consistent patterns. So allow your investment strategy to be boring. Invest in a simple portfolio of index trackers that you just invest in over and over. Regular, consistent contributions into the same simple investments. As soon as you start getting an adrenaline rush from your investing, it should be your first warning sign that something is going to go very, very wrong. You should not be getting a thrill from your investing. It should be boring. It should be, oh God, this is dull. Yes, it's meant to be. Allow this base of your life, the base of your pyramid, to be dull, 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 because that's what lets it work. That's what lets it go forward. Notice a temptation to want to fiddle. So many people, when they start an investment strategy, why so few people are successful in individual stock market investing? They'll start with a strategy and then they get bored. And so they'll fiddle. Oh, what if it happens if I change this? Let me poke this thing. As humans, we love to fiddle. Yep, in all sorts of ways. Do not fiddle with your investment strategies. Do not fiddle with your money management. Get a strategy, put it in place, automate it, and protect it from you. Allow it to be boring. Boring is beautiful. It is the very base that allows the other elements of the light, the joy, the fun, the color, the thrill of life to happen. Because not only is boring beautiful, but boring provides this fantastic big base that is consistent, that is reliable, that you can trust, that you can lean against. You don't want your investments to be flighty and all over the place. It might be delightful, but can you trust it? Allow your investing, your money management, your saving, everything to do with your wealth be boring as anything. The next key principle is to ensure that you are taking cash from your cash generating activities and putting them into your assets. Many people can get stuck with cash generating businesses, cash generating activities, and never convert those to assets and investments. This taking a consistent, regular amount of the cash generated from business activities, from your own work, and converting it into assets in a regular, consistent way is one of the key boring is beautiful principles of thriving in the world of wealth. So now I've seen so many people to create fantastic businesses. I've got an internet marketing business, a digital business, and I have great masterminds with people who have extraordinary cash generation. They produce a lot of revenue, but they have almost no profit because they just spend it all. It's always the next thing, the next business. And even those who create a profit, they don't take it out of that business. They say, oh, Anne, I'm investing in myself. I'm reinvesting in my business. This is the way to go. No, this is super dangerous. This is also happens when people get too cocky and too sure of saying, well, Anne, I can get my money working at 10, 20, 30, 40% return on investments by reinvesting in my business. Why wouldn't I do that? Because they chase the higher return constantly. People get involved in cryptos and crypto mining and creating and minting coins or NFTs and go, but Anne, I'm doubling my money, tripling my money. Why would I not just put that money back into that? This ties closely with boring is beautiful. You have to celebrate the fact that you found something that can generate cash flow, can generate high returns, but have the deep discipline to take that profit, take that cash flow and invest it in the base of your pyramid, into boring is beautiful elements. I see so many people with great cash flows, great wealth, riches. It's flowing now. But they have no investment, they don't have their pyramid in place, they've got no base investments. And so as soon as the market changes, something happens with that business, woof, it dries up. And despite having made millions, trillions, whatever it is, they've got nothing to show for it. Because they never learned the key principle of taking something from that cash generating or that cash flow activity and putting it into boring, consistent investments. Do that. No matter what business you have, make sure you're taking money out of that and putting it into other assets. So this brings us to the third principle of living the wealthy way, is diversifying. You must diversify your assets. You must put your money into a range of different asset classes, different geographic zones, different currencies. You spread the risk. You allow the truth that we just don't know what is going to be coming along in the future to be part of your planning. Diversify. This talks back to boring is beautiful. It talks back to investing your cash flow from your cash flow machines. That you might go, no, but Anne, I've got this great business. I'm just going to reinvest in that business. That's not diversification. That's super risky. That's not just not having all of your eggs in one basket. That's only having one damn egg, which you don't even have a basket for. You're walking through life, flicking your egg up and down, thinking you're so damn great because it's wonderful now. Suddenly something happens, the wind blows, you don't catch that egg, boof. You must diversify. And some of that diversification is going to be boring. Some of that diversification is not going to have the same returns that you can get in other areas. But you know that this is one of the principles of living the wealthy way. This is what's going to allow you to sleep at night. Those are the things that are going to catch you when market storms come along, when political unrest happens. This is how you keep yourself safe and sound and wealthy. Diversify across different asset classes and different geographic ranges. The fourth element of living the wealthy way is give yourself a margin for error. When you're planning on your financial freedom journey, we've got your freedom target, you've worked out your financial freedom number. That's why you also have a range. We work between an 8 and a 4%, because while we're going to be aiming to be getting rates of returns of 12, 15 and plus %, so we can be drawing down at a rate of 8%, you know that sometimes that's not going to happen. Markets are going to go wrong, some decisions are going to be made. You always want a buffer. Have a margin of error in your cash safety net. So you might say, great, I'm going to have 3 months basic living cash safety net. Give yourself a little bit more, just in case it's 4 months that you need it for. Now, we don't want such a big margin for error that you've just got so much safety and padding around you that you look like the wealthy equivalent of one of those sumo suits and you can't work. Many people are so fearful that they've got so much saving and cash around and insurances all over the place that they can't actually live. But you also don't want to be walking on a financial knife edge. I know so many people that every cent, pence, euro they have is invested because they want all of their money working for them. And so that when something comes along, they've got no cash safety net because they went, oh, well, I don't want cash just sitting around. But then they have to sell some of those assets. Now, this is what happened with one of the partners of Warren Buffett. When you hear about Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway, considered one of the most successful investors of all time, mostly because of long consistency and being in the markets for a long time. There's Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, but there was a third partner in Berkshire Hathaway when they first started out. By all accounts, equally smart, a great investor, but he was in a rush. He wanted it quicker. And so he took risks. He took huge margin accounts. So what that means, he borrowed money to invest even more. So these are margin accounts elements. And he wanted it to be faster and quicker. And he was so confident that, knew what he was doing in investing, that there was no margin for error. He had no buffer. And in one of the big downturns, there was, I think it was in the 90s, I think it was in the dot-com era, at that stage of their journey, he was so margined, he was so leveraged in investing that as all the prices went down, what's called margin calls come along. So the lenders in the margin account said, nope, you've got to repay this back. And so these are called margin calls. And all he could do was sell all his Berkshire Hathaway shares. And Warren Buffett bought him out at 40 cents on these, which was significantly low. The markets had gone down, but he had to sell because he had no margin for error. He had no buffer. He had no flexibility, which allowed him to ride that storm. And that was the end of his relationship with Berkshire Hathaway investing, because he was just too close to that edge. Great investor, but he didn't have a margin for error. Which also then comes to the next point, is we need to stay humble. It's so easy when we start getting some investment success or business success or money starts flowing in to think we're clever. We know we've sussed it. We've got the recipe. We've got the cool. Great, I've done it here. I can do it again over and over and over. And often with that lack of humility, that hubris, comes that arrogance of, this is simple or this is easy. And I've seen so many people who've been able to create a successful business in one place. And then they go, I'll take bigger risks. I can do this again. They take all that money, they take borrowing, they start something else. They don't keep a safety net in place. They don't diversify, and they risk it all because they've got arrogant. So humility also appreciates that, yes, we are participating in our own rescue. We are being active in our wealth creation. We're being responsible with our money. We're being the boss. We're taking responsibility for our own financial well-being. We're doing what needs to be done. We're not looking for somebody else to rescue us. Hell yes, you're learning. You're creating this by doing. You're getting knowledge. But we also appreciate that so much of our well-being, so much of what we have, is just by virtue of luck. Luck of where we're born, the luck of the time when we're born, luck of certain markets. That, yes, you might be great at business, but there's a huge element of just luck and timing. For every single person's success, there's been providence, there's been serendipity that has enabled them to succeed. And so when we stay humble, this is not about, it's not about not owning our success, but it's also not being so arrogant to go, something could come along to destabilize that. So we let our base be boring. We diversify. We have that buffer for a margin of error. This is all part of going, there's some things that I just don't know. And so I'm going to manage for that and have that in place. And the final component of the deep, wealthy life way is remembering enough. It's coming right back to our path of enough and constantly checking in and going, am I living my right size life, whatever that looks like? Am I that fabulous warthog in the wild wilderness who's loving rooting around in my mud bath and living my right side life, not looking up and going, I wish I was the giraffe. Look how tall and slim. Look at their gorgeous legs and I've just got this big fat rump. No, the warthog's the warthog. I'm Anne and I'm living my unique, beautiful, wealthy enough life. What is yours? Get clear on what wealthy life is for you. Go back and connect in with what is enough. Notice where you're being pulled for fear and greed, the more monster or the not enough monster. Remember enough, and that is how you're going to be a really successful investor.